Welcome to my second game of Dragons of Etchinstone on camera. We will try Rodving again, since I failed last game. I do have some things I want to pay more attention to this time. For example, I want to see what the hardships actually are, especially of the cards I'm upgrading to. See if I am making life harder for myself, if the card comes up as the face card in the next region. Also, I definitely do want to upgrade more combat cards this time, since I do believe that the journey is not unimportant, but here you do need the damage and the shields to soak up the damage, so it's far more important to have upgraded cards here. Which does mean if we have one or two good movement cards, that it has to be enough, and we really have to focus on getting many upgraded cards into the final battle. Our opening hand has Determined March, Adapt, River Swiftness, and another River Swiftness. So 2 movement card, a hybrid card, and another movement. Fortunately, we do open up with a Journey, which is the second one with the additional hardship of a Storm, which means that if I suffer time penalties, I also suffer an equal amount of damage, which does mean I hope to have a full victory. I have a kind of déjà vu, so maybe this also came up last game. The second journey is the blue one with a value of 8, so that shouldn't be too hard, I hope, especially seeing that I have all movement cards here. I do not have blue as an element, so I cannot power those two. But then again, to reach 8, that should not be necessary, so I could power this, and I just need one more, so a boost of 1 will do. Powering this would actually also be possible, but I do need a boost of 3 then, which means that I would have to play this for boost, and this is as my element. So just to rearrange that, we would then keep the River Swiftness here in our reserve, would have the purple element for 5 movement and a boost of 3, brings us up to 8, which is enough to have complete victory. And the Storm then is irrelevant. That would mean that we would hold on to the River Swiftness, which can be powered by the Frostfire Wall, so there's that. And this is also one of the really good cards to upgrade, because it does have a nice initiative, 12 movement, which is nice, a really good boost, and a shield of 5, that's also good. Unfortunately, I would not be able to upgrade it because it takes 4 XP and I'm only getting 3, which would leave only the Adapt or the Determined March to upgrade. But this is kind of a similar card. It also has very good values. The shield is a bit worse, but it still is a good movement card. I really do not want to upgrade the Adapt currently because the mixed cards do not have a high ceiling, unfortunately. They are not having good shield value, not a good overall value if taken as a spell, but I do have a good boost. So is there any way to hold on to a card that I can upgrade? I don't think I can hold on to this because it is a movement 7. So if I'm not using this as a spell, I'm probably using this. So yeah, I do think I will hold on to this. Execute the plan as already laid out. The purple mana will power the Adapt spell with a boost of 3, that's movement 8, which is a full victory. The hardship is a Storm, which does not matter. So we do get 3 XP and we do upgrade the Determined March. We do draw the Frostfire Wall, and the 2 additional cards are the Sword of Light and the Frostfire Wall, so another one. Let's look what we have to do. It's the 4th enemy, so 13 life 2 initiative with purple attack and shield. There is no way in hell that I can come up with 13 attack. All the boosts being 2, my highest attack being 6, so there's no chance. But then again, the initiative is trivial. We all have very high initiative cards here. So the goal has to be to reach 7 attack, which is not purple. And that could, for example, be the Sword of Light with a boost of 2. That's already 8. And at that point, you should really again think about what we want to keep. This time we would have to soak up 3 damage. That's really unfortunate, because it would mean downgrading 2 cards. But we then would get 8 XP to level up cards. And at that point, I'm just noticing that I did not pay attention to the hardship. So I just upgraded the Determined March to include an ambush. Downgrading 2 cards and upgrading 2 does sound like a wash, so I'm really too fond of this. It just sounds really inefficient, because it's just 1 point of damage that's being spilled over, but I do not have the correct color of shield to prevent that. I could upgrade any of these cards twice, but we should briefly think about diversion here too. But if I divert into a journey and have any kind of time penalty, I'm losing a turn. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Downgraded cards are easy to level up again, because I do not cost that much XP. So maybe downgrading is the right idea here. We actually do see the XP values here. So if we upgrade or downgrade these 2, they are really easy to upgrade again. These are good cards. So level 4s here are really good shield, really good boost, really good initiative. Only the attack is not extremely good. But I do think the fact that they are easy to upgrade again for the next region should probably mean that I should downgrade them. Which means that I can either upgrade a Sword of Light to level 4, which in comparison is really bad, because it's a worse boost, a worse shield, but an initiative that we do not really need. Maybe in the journeys it can come in handy, but here it's probably not too important. We could also upgrade, no we can't upgrade this twice, so we could upgrade both 1 time. But if I'm going to downgrade these 2 cards, I should really have them in my action set. Unless I want to upgrade that right away, but I would have to use it as a level 1 card, and I don't think that's advisable. Well, if I do want to upgrade later, it also has to be in my level 1. But both cards do not interact at all with this. So that's probably a bad idea to have a level 1 card with a card that doesn't interact at all. Yeah, so I think I should try to use them. Maybe to, for example, have an attack of 5, which is blue, and it needs 7, that's 2 more. So I'm probably using the River Swiftness here. So with an initiative of 5, you don't get any damage. Blue element for 5 attack, 7 attack. 7 is more than 50% of 13. So we do have a partial victory. We do downgrade these 2 cards here because they are easy to upgrade again. And then we do have 8 XP. For 3 we can upgrade this once. For another 4 another time. And now we do have a card that we can actually power with 10 attack. I hope this is worth it. Alright, so we draw the Adapt. And the other 2 cards are 1 Brute Force, 1 Destruction. And now we do have to do a journey with 11 red at night, unfortunately, again. So again, the initiative will be subtracted from the boost. For example, this would be -6, but there's a ceiling at 0. Actually, we do have 2 cards that have a positive boost still, so that's nice. But we cannot really reach 11 here. But maybe since we are on our 3rd turn and we did not lose any cards yet, so we only played 3 in the first 2 turns. We do have our 2 buffer cards, so I think we just take the time penalty here and try to come up with 6 movement. That would, for example, be 3 movement with a boost of 3, because we do not have the purple element, and all the other cards do not give movement. And 6 is completely fine, so we can use any of our cards as element. Do I want to hold on to this? Probably yes, because there's a yellow card coming up, and it would be a movement card, so I think that's a good synergy still. No, we will discard this, so we don't know about that. So we already had 1 yellow element here, 1 here. 1 will be discarded, so there should be 1 more to power our card here actually. So maybe we should hold on to this. Maybe we should flip this back to the phases of play, because we get our time penalty first before we upgrade. So if we just leave it at this, 3 movement plus 3 is 6. That's enough, but we do get a penalty. Actually, this doesn't work like this. I think I was thinking about this. So the element is irrelevant, 3 movement plus 3 boost. So this is our action set. We now lose 2 cards as time penalty. So the Fleet-footed is gone and the Burning Bridges is gone. But we do have enough cards. We might be unlucky that the last element is actually it's on top of the deck. Okay, so but you can never really be sure, because the last element that you are looking for might be the face card, so that you can't actually use. Okay, but now that we know that we can power this with an okay initiative, do we still hold on to this? We do get 4 XP. So the good thing about this would be the red shields. But otherwise, it's just a bad boost and an attack Rodving is immune to. So I do think I should use the 4 XP for something else, probably the Brute Force. Let's upgrade this and then discard the action set. So we do get our Rain of Blood. The 2 additional cards are the Fleet-footed and Motivated Fly, so 2 movement, and we have 2 attack. That looks good actually. What do we have to do? Second enemy, so it's 11 attack with initiative 4 to have a full victory, and we should avoid red. Actually, maybe we should not avoid red, because this might be the only chance we have, because we do need initiative of 4. And if we use this as our element, we would have 5 initiative. It's a red element, so we get the 8 attack. There's 1 armor, so it's down to 7. But with a 4 boost, we actually reach the 11. The problem is, if we use this to power this, then we are 1 attack shy of 11, and we are 1 influence shy of 4, and we can't fix both with our boosts. That's the problem. But I think that's good enough. There's no hardship. Red element, high enough initiative, 8 attack, 12, 1 shield, 11. Perfect. So that's a complete victory without any downgrades. 7 XP. I really like that. So these are the only ones we can upgrade, of course, because this is still in our deck. The Sword of Light we already have upgraded fully. So I really do like the Fleet-footed, because, for example, the Rain of Blood in comparison has just a very bad boost. It is a good attack card, but again, against the dragon, it's not that good. It has a good shield, but the Fleet-footed, on the other hand, has also an okay shield, a very good boost, but 14 movement is really a lot. But it would introduce a night hardship, so maybe I should avoid that. We could be a bit slower and upgrade it once. We would still have 3 over, so we could even upgrade something else. But then again, I do have 2 movement cards and a red attack card, so I would rather upgrade something else. Maybe this Motivated Flight is the way to go here, because I upgraded twice. It would be 3 XP and 4, that's 7. And we would end up without a hardship, which is with an okay movement. We don't need that much movement. Very good boost, very good shield, very good initiative. Let's do that. So that is the end of region 1. So we do flip the Jade Mountains into the Living Marshes and give our deck a good shuffle. Unfortunately, our opening hand is all level 2 cards. 2 fleet-footed, a River Swiftness and a Burning Bridges. So it's only movement, and the first face card has us fight a level 2 enemy. And the face card has fight us the second enemy, which is 10 attack, 8 initiative. And we do not have any attack whatsoever, unfortunately. I believe that you can play any card for 1 attack or 1 move, but without any boost to speak of, we would only be able to reach an attack of 3, so that's not cutting it either. I do feel we have to divert. Looking at the elements, we do not have blue to power this, and we do have yellow to power this, and this can't power itself, unfortunately. So this really means that we could fuse those, but to what end? It would only leave the red, which is just the worst movement. That's the worst initiative, the worst boost, the worst shield. It is red movement, but if we have to fuse to power it, it's irrelevant. Yeah, I think I'm diverting and discarding the Burning Bridges. Let's see what else we have to do. So now the Determined March comes back to bite us with the ambush. So we would have to fight the second enemy again, but this time even with ambush. That's not what I want. So I have to divert again. Diversion only costs us 1 card. The other one is from the hand or the action set anyway. Actually, it's not, because you have to make an action set and can't keep a reserve. So the first time you divert, you're actually losing 2 cards. So the second time I divert, I'm only losing 1. But this also cost me a turn already. But this is not better if I'm now having to take triple the damage. This is not going well, I have to say. But I do think this is something I now have to toss. So we are diverting again, and this time I have to keep whatever's coming. So it's the enemy 3 now, which does have the ability that it's slow. So I can actually use movement instead of attack, which is good because now I can use this as a spell. And this is my element. So I have an initiative of 5. I don't get any damage. And I do 9 damage. So this is a partial victory. But unfortunately, I'm taking 4 damage. And in particular, red damage. So I cannot circumvent that without... That's so bad. So I have to downgrade them both. And I can't use my 8 XP. Well, they're going down to level 1. And I'm losing my 8 XP. And here we yet again have one card that we downgraded, which introduced a new hardship. It introduced a storm. So if we can't reach 11 yellow now, we also are taking damage. And our hand consists of 2 adepts, a brute force that is upgraded, and a river swiftness. The third journey is 11. So let's see. We don't have yellow movement, so we can't use 2 boosts. We do have a boost of 4. And the best movement we can come up with 6, but we would need the element for this. I do feel that we should try to divert again, since this would be a time penalty of 3 with a partial victory. And I do think these cards can power themselves, and these are virtually indistinguishable, so I think any of these have to go. Let's just get rid of this. Now we have to do journey 2, which is blue. That's better, but we don't have a reserve card anyway to use the boost. So at that point, I think we have to be content with blue movement of 9. That's a partial success. We discard 2 more cards and get 7 XP. And I think we should upgrade this, because this is a really nice hybrid card with a good attack. But the initiative is not that good, and the shield is actually also nothing to write home about. So let's see. But then we are left with an adapt and a movement card again. So I do think we want to upgrade this for 4. And then there we are only with 3 left, so we have to upgrade the adapt. I fear that's the region 2, because we only have 3 cards in the deck. That went kind of disastrous, I have to say. But let's see how far we can get. So on to the Burning Basin, and we are shuffling the deck. Alright, so the opening hand consists of almost all level 2s, but just the Determined March level 3, Rain of Blood, River Swiftness, and another Rain of Blood. We would have to fight the first enemy with 17 life and 5 initiative. So I think it's fair to say that we can't reach 17. We can reach 13. The initiative of 5 could be possible. That would be easy with this, but we don't have a yellow card. So maybe we do need to fuse to power this. And that would give us a red element for 8, for 13, and initiative of 6. But it might be overkill. We do need an attack of 8, no 9. So if we can't reach a natural attack of 9, we do have to use boost on the attack, not on the initiative. So I think this forces us to fuse, because we do need to play this directly. So red 8, 13, partial victory, enough initiative to avoid the early damage. So that's 3 cards, so that's 3 damage in the hand, which does mean we have to downgrade this. I don't want to downgrade yet another 2 cards. And 9 XP to upgrade cards. And again, red attack and movement cards. So do I avoid these or do I just upgrade this twice? Because this is a nice card again. I'm upgrading this twice. Let's see. We do draw destruction, a burning bridges, sword of light, which is level 4. That's nice. And a river swiftness, but the rest is level 2 unfortunately. And we do have to fight the 4th enemy, which is a ranged one. 9 health and 7 initiative. And I do feel my hand is not the best for this because we do have only 2 cards that gives attack. If we power this, we do not have the 9 attack. And we have a really shitty initiative. And this we can't even power. And the only way to fuse would be to fuse the 2 cards that gives us the attack in the first place. But then again, the enemy is ranged anyway. So maybe we just give up the early damage phase and just accept that we take early damage. And then we would need an attack of 9, which probably, if you do not want to fuse, means to have an attack of 8 with a boost of 2 and hold on to the Sword of Light. The question is, what do I want to hold on to? But I'm not sure it's really a question. Well, I can swap out the boost, definitely. But I do have to assign 2 damage, which is either of these cards, I think. And I don't see me downgrading this. So I think I will stay with this, take the early damage, which is 2 yellow damage, downgrading this card. But then having a combined attack of 10, which is red, so we do have a full victory after that. So that's level 1. And then we have 5 XP to upgrade either of those. And I think I'm going with Burning Bridges because it is a red movement card, which has red shields. So we do draw the Adept, as well as 2 level 4 cards, a Brute Force and a Motivated Flight. So that's nice. And we would have to solve the second journey, which is yellow 12. So I think this gives me a break, fortunately, because this is just this. The remaining cards are attack cards, are really much worse at moving. So at that point we can keep either card. Unfortunately we have a level 1 coming up, but I think that's just a better card probably. The journeys were 6 XP, and since everything's already upgraded, I have to upgrade this, and I can't upgrade it twice. So we draw this level 1 card, as well as 2 more level 1s. So we do have 2 level 1 Frostfire Walls, level 1 Fleet-footed, but a Brute Force. And we do have the journey 4 to solve, which is 11 purple. We do not have purple movement, obviously. And at that point, I think, since we are at the end of the deck anyway, I will just take the time penalty. There's only 2 cards left in the deck anyway. So as long as we are getting 6 movement, there's no hardship. It should be enough. And I do feel we are lucky in the sense that this can be merged or fused for yellow. So we do have 5-6 movement. That's quite clutch, but nevertheless it works. That's 5 XP. And we did downgrade all these cards with the idea that it's easy to upgrade again. So I feel like we should pay these 2 XP to get them to level 2 again. And then probably pay another 2 to get this also level 2 again. So we just fixed the deck, so to speak. But I feel that's region 3, unfortunately. Let's see how much we can prepare in region 4. On to the Forest of Garth. The opening hand is a level 4 and a level 1, as well as 2 level 2s. The quite flexible card of movement or attack, level 4. But what we have to do is we have to fight enemy number 1, which is poisonous, has a life of 13 and initiative of 6. Unfortunately, it is purple in color. So if we are using this here, well, we don't have a purple element, but we can think about fusing. We would run into 3 armor, but it also has a blue armor. So 8 red would be the best one, especially if we can use the kicker, but we do not have the red element as well. We only have yellow and blue, and the best we can do with blue is 5 attack. Unfortunately, initiative is also quite bad. We do not even have 6. So we do have to use the boost to come up with the initiative. I don't think we can do it without fusing, unfortunately. Without fusing, the only attack we can play is 5 blue, where we even has armor. And if we do fuse, we can at least take a high initiative value of 5. 8 red attack is enough. And unfortunately, the boost of 1 is also enough then. But we will take 2 damage, which I will take in the card that gives a red attack. 1 damage in the next turn because it's poisonous. But we do get 7 XP, which I think I will just take on the Frostfire Wall completely, because it's 3 plus another 4. So it's fully upgraded. We have a really nice boost, really nice shield, and an attack, which is not red. We draw the Destruction, as well as an Adept, a Sword of Light, and a Frostfire Wall. We do have to take 1 damage into this hand. But first we can, I think, look at what the keycard says. And it says a Journey 4, which is 11 yellow, which is steep. So the boost of our reserve increases the challenge. The only movement we have is the Adept. We don't have the right element. This can let us avoid the penalty from steep, but unfortunately with a boost of 2 we can only come up with 7 movement or 9 movement, and we do need 11 for a full victory to avoid the 3 time penalty. 7 and 4 would be 11, but we do not have the matching element. Alright, so with a partial victory necessary only, we do not need to fuse unless we want to avoid the steepness. So for partial victory, 6 movement would be enough. So if you just play that as 4, there's no card to keep that actually interacts with this, but then again we are getting a time penalty anyway. So to reach 6 movement, we could probably just use this 4 here. With 4 that's 8. The element is irrelevant at that point. And if we are not fusing, we will increase the journey target by 2, that's 13, so we need 7 instead of 6, but we do have 8. But we should probably keep this card, and because I think we want to upgrade this, although this gives red shields, but I do feel we need good combat cards, and this is really good shield as well, good boost and a non-red attack. So this is the irrelevant element then, and we do have 8 movement with a journey of 13, it's partial victory. We do lose 3 cards, unfortunately, that's at least a turn. But we do receive 5 XP. This is already upgraded. Those 2 I really don't want to upgrade. So it's the Frostfire Wall, which we do keep. But unfortunately, there's only 2 XP left now. Fortunately, we do have another turn. There's 2 cards left in the deck now. And besides the Frostfire Wall and the Burning Bridges, we do have a Determined March and River Swiftness with okay levels. And we would need to do a Journey 4 again, but this time also with a Storm. So time penalty would also be damage. Actually, I did not take the damage in the last hand. I think these were the 3 cards that we discarded due to the time penalty, and these cards we played. We had this with this as a boost, and this card was the irrelevant card. So I think I will just downgrade this to level 1 because it was an irrelevant card for the hand. Alright, but we would need to do it again, this time with a Storm. So Steep and Storm. Can we come up with 11? And seeing that we have a +4 and 7s, I hope this is possible. These cards can power themselves, but this can power the Determined March. And with the +4, that would be 11. Unfortunately, it's still steep, so it would be 13 instead. That's 11 only, which I think means that we do have to fuse, for example, these 2 to power a red Burning Bridges. For 7 + 4, that's 11. So the steep is irrelevant, and the Storm 2 because it's a full victory. Don't think there's any way around that, and the region ends anyway. So let's take another 5 XP. Could go for the Burning Bridges on level 4. That's 1 more shield if we draw it in the battle phase. 2 movement if you draw it earlier, but it's not that much. We could upgrade these 2 or the Frostfire Wall to level 4. That's just 2 shield. That's a lot. Upgrading this doesn't change the shield, doesn't change too much. This also doesn't get any shield. I think I want to go for the Frostfire Wall on level 4. So that's 4 XP. We would have 5, but there's nothing else to do with the last point. So it's the end of region 4, and we are now facing Rodving again. Doesn't feel too prepared, to be honest. Can't say it went too well. Let's maybe have a quick look at the deck. So we do have the Brute Force, that's nice, and a Frostfire Wall, that's nice. So we did reach our goal to get 2 good combat cards with good boosts. A really good movement card, which would also be welcome in the combat because of its nice boost and shield. The Rain of Blood, we didn't modify at all. So the Frostfire Wall is another level 4 combat card. I'm starting to feel a bit better actually. And there's an Adept that has welcome boost for either phase. There's a Destruction, so we downgraded this. The Burning Bridges we did manage to upgrade, so it's a red movement, that's good. This is a casualty, unfortunately, as is this, but it's a red combat card. We do have a blank here almost. Another fully upgraded combat card. Another fully upgraded movement card. Actually, it's much better than I thought. Another mid adapt with a nice boost. This could be a very welcome movement card. It's not really upgraded, but who cares? And there's another blank. So if these cards appear in the right hand, that might still work out. Let's see how fast my hopes are being crushed, and let's really go shuffle this deck really good. Alright, so we are drawing 7 cards for the journey, hiding the other cards behind the dragon. And I immediately see that I should be really content with this because we have drawn a lot of these level 1 cards that we downgraded. Better now than later. And we do have a nice movement card here, so the Motivated Flight, which we do want to power with any of these blank cards because the initiative doesn't matter at all. So we would have another, well, we do have the Burning Bridges, so it's a red card, which does mean we can get the boost of the reserve. But I'm not sure this is actually worth it, because to power this I definitely do not want to use this, because it's far too nice of a boost. And then we do not have a red element left, and we can just power something that's 9 movement by itself. And the boost is actually not that nice anyway, so we are left with a reserve card with a +1 boost. That's yeah, if you already have 2 more, then why even bother with this? So I think that's a good chunk of movement. Maybe not as much as we need to ace this journey. Let's see, that's 12 by yellow element. Plus 4 is 16. Another yellow, that's 9. Plus 2 is 11. That's 27. Now that's something. 1 shy of the best tier here. But we did really efficiently use the level 1 cards as elements. Do not use the key card with the argument we already went through. Use this as a really good boost. I don't think we can optimize this further. That still means we get a time penalty of 2. So we do lose another adapt, that's sad, and a river swiftness. But it's a movement card, but a very welcome boost. So that's the bad part about it, and a nice shield. But what can you do? So these are then 7 plus 2, 9 cards, and we will have 7 for the final fight. Let's see if we can kill him and survive. So here are all our level 4 combat cards, and these are the not so good cards. This has a nice initiative, even though it's level 1. So it would be really good to power something with this, for example the brute force. That's 11 attack with initiative of 5, that's really good. I'm feeling really good with this, but it's just 5 of an initiative of 9, so we need 4 more, unless we want to waste a boost for this. But I don't see why I would. I think I would like to use my boosts. Actually, well, I do need to solve the initiative problem, so maybe I do just use this as a 7 initiative. I can at least use a boost 3 then here, but this can't power this, so we just have to swap that. Which does mean this initiative is irrelevant, because this is already 10 initiative. Let's see what we have here. Purple for 11, 16. Blue for 10, 13. That's 29. We circumvent the armor and the early damage. But we can't get 3 more attack, I think. Actually, we can. No, because of the initiative again. We unfortunately do not have any red shields, so let's see if we can survive this. Damage-wise, as said, we do have 21 plus 8, 29. That's 3 shy of the best tier. So you would have to soak up 24 damage, 24 red. And we do only have 11, 14, 20, 26. Actually, we can survive. It's extremely close, but we can. So that's 6, 9 is 15, 9 is 24. So if we downgrade all these cards, let's just take this one. We do survive Rodving, and we do win, finally. Okay, let's see how much score we do have still left. That's 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 15, 16, 19, 23, 26, 28, 29, 33, 36, 37. Seeing that we do start with 16 cards of level 2, that's 32. That I would say that's just a score of 5, but I don't know much about score yet. I'm quite happy that we actually did win. We did have the second tier here, and just enough armor to soak the damage. So if there was no further mistakes beyond those that I already noticed and corrected, that would be my first win on camera, at least, from Rodving. I feel like we did better upgrades this time, but we also had an awful round 3 or round 2, I don't remember which one exactly, where we did lose 8 XP, for example, by diverting twice, when we were stuck with a movement hand and combat, so we did not luck into any journey. Looking at the cards, they are really starting to wear. You can really see the white borders here, so yeah, I think the cards are starting to fall apart. The specs of the foil here, I mean, they are by design, at least some of them, I think. For example, this here in the middle is on all the... Actually, no, it is not. Yeah, I think they're starting to fall apart. I should probably open a ticket. That's a bit sad, but maybe we do get a replacement. I do feel like I should play Rodving again and see if I can make this victory again. And really try to pay more attention to the hardships that I'm creating by upgrading. For example, by going from 1 to 3 here, you are adding a storm. And especially night hardship, for example, they really can screw you over, like in the last game where we had multiple journeys at night, which resulted in partial victories. These give you time penalty, you lose a turn, so this is really not good for your overall strategy. Yeah, so the cards are collecting specs of black. Yeah, and I think I just rubbed off the foil. Ah, that's a bit sad. Yeah, so the foil starts coming off here. All right, but I think that wraps it for the second Rodving game and the first win. See you in the next game.